Heavyweight bout between Jimmy Crute sitting at minus 190, Alonzo Menifield plus 190. Odds courtesy of BetOpenly. Over under set at 1.5 rounds, plus 124 for the over, minus 124 for the under. What are you thinking on this one?
It's kind of tough. Like Jimmy Crute against Anthony Smith, dude. It'd be hard for me to bet on Jimmy Crute after seeing his leg mangled the way it was against Anthony Smith. I mean, dude, he stepped on it funny in between rounds, and you could tell there was just like no feeling or nerves in it. It looked like it just collapsed his knee. So those kind of injuries kind of scare me going forward, especially guys that are thick like that and are going to put a lot of weight on those legs to explode off and try to hit the other one. I'm not confident enough in Jimmy Crute at minus 190 against a guy who does hit hard like Menifield. But the downfall in Alonzo Menifield is that he's not the most technical. He's almost like a brawler, and if he catches you, he catches you. If not, if you can stay away from his big punches, he's not that hard of a guy to beat. Let's see what he's in his last fight. Misha Serkinov, Askar Mazarov win, and the William Knight was the loss he had by decision. But I keep going back to Jimmy Crute and that leg injury, man. It just makes me nervous putting money on a big favorite like that after seeing your legs so mangled. I don't necessarily like the style of Alonzo Menifield either. I do like the under in this fight, though. It's 1.5 rounds. I think that's accurate. Both guys can hit. Both guys are powerful. Both guys are a little bit wild. And if one punch connects from either guy, it could be all she wrote. Don't think I'm going to play a money line here, but I probably will watch that under 1.5 as the week goes on.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Crute hasn't been to a second round since 2018.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on there. But for Jimmy Crute, I mean, he had that leg injury as a minus 240 favorite against Anthony Smith, comes back against Jamal Hill as a minus 175 favorite and gets knocked out in 48 seconds. Before that, though, I mean, a first-round knockout against Modestas Bukauskas, who we'll talk about later. Michal Olashechek, first-round knockout there, and then a loss to Misha Serkinov, Peruvian necktie. The guy he's got pretty good ground game, which I think he could use as a path to victory here against Menifield if he can land the takedowns. But it's kind of a big ask because Alonzo Menifield is, a tank. The guy is jacked, strong dude, and he's looked good as of late. I mean, first-round knockout against Serkinov, first-round knockout against Mozarov, which was on the ground, elbows from the crucifix position. So looks like he's kind of fixed up the ground game a little bit. Always easier when you're on top. But if you're going against Jimmy Crute, I mean, he's shown that he can get hit on the feet. And obviously you're not going to pull the Jamal Hill out there like that against Jimmy Crute. But
yeah,
if you're Menifield, you definitely want to keep this fight on the feet. He can get clipped himself, though. That's the thing. He's been clipped before against OSP and in another recent fight against William Knight. Actually, he got clipped and dropped, but was able to battle back from that. Did get the decision loss, but Jimmy Crute's all action, good wrestling, good subs. It's going to come after you. I do like that under now that you talk about it. I haven't really looked too much into over-unders, more so just the fighters, but that under is looking pretty good. The only thing that scares me is if Menifield kind of controls him up against the cage or something like that. He's shown that before that he'll do that and just kind of imposes strength against you. So that's the only thing that scares me about that right now. But overall, as far as the prices go, I mean, I don't know how you can lay close to minus 200 on Jimmy Crute at this point. Seems like all the value's on Menifield. Maybe you look for Jimmy Crute by sub. He's got good submission threats. Could see that as a path to victory there if he gets it to the ground. I just don't think he wants to, stand and bang with Menifield, especially coming off that KO loss. He's been off for a while. Since that Jamal Hill loss. So wonder what he's been up to. But yeah, just get the fight to the ground if you're Jimmy Crute. If you're Alonzo Menifield, keep everything you can to keep it standing, or at least get your own takedown, and just don't even mess around as far as grappling exchanges go. So
Yeah, I think if you're Alonzo, you just got to corner him, get him up against the cage, and just start ripping body shots. Come upstairs and just put some pressure on him. But even if it does go to the ground, I don't think Alonzo's ever been submitted. So that's
yeah. Does he
does
have neck is the question.
yeah,
Thick dude. So
yeah,
there's that.
exactly. Yeah,
But
should
yeah,
be interesting.
it should be interesting. I mean, he
10
knocked out
KO
Paul Craig,
wins.
so
Yeah.
and Jimmy Crute submitted Paul Craig. So there's that.